So yeah, welcome to this morning's class. We got our full body movement class this morning. My name's Tom, I'm going to be your instructor this morning. As I said just a minute ago, it is very hot today. I'm in my conservatory, which unfortunately is a bit of a greenhouse. So I'll be taking plenty of breaks throughout today, as should you if you're doing this today. Yeah, make sure that you've got plenty of water, got a big bottle, and again, give yourself plenty of time to recover in between any movements as well. Yeah, okay, so let's get to it. Now you'll notice that I'm wearing shoes today. Usually I'd be barefoot. That's just because it is quite hot, and this floor tends to get quite slippery when it gets wet with sweat, so I'd rather not slide around. That's a good point as well. Find yourself, if you can, a little bit of soft flooring, or if you've got any knee pads, something like that. As again, we're going to be spending a lot of time on our knees, and especially on our wrists. The point to note on your wrists, if it does become a little bit uncomfortable, just take a moment, shake it off, release the tension, and then carry on. Or if it is that unbearable, you can just stop the class altogether. What we don't want is you guys to be pushing yourselves through anything that's what you would consider to be painful. Okay, so I'm going to start off the class in exactly the same way as we always do. We're going to open up our hips. So for those of you that haven't seen it before, you're going to be dropping your knees apart nice and wide. And again, if you can see my feet there, so from the side, you're dropping your knees apart nice and wide, splaying your feet out to the side, and all you're doing, keeping your back nice and straight, so pulling your chest up and your shoulders back. You're just going to rock forwards and backwards with the hips. Again, nice and easy. So you might find it's a little bit, maybe a little bit clunky or a bit crunchy, and then you're starting to get that movement a little bit bigger each time. See if you can bring your chest down to the floor a little bit. Good, and that's really going to unlock the hips. What you can do from that position there is then you can start going into dropping one side of the hip, sit back, drop the other side of the hip, sit back. Good, so dropping from side to side, keeping that chest up nice and tall. And again, just breathing out as you reach forward. Okay, so nice and loose there. Wonderful, let's start our time. So our very first movement, or our first few movements, we're going to be adding two movements together like we did last week. So it's sort of like a mobility movement, and then it's going to lead into like a strength-based movement, so just body weight work, nothing equipment-based. We're keeping it nice and easy. First one then, you get back in that position that we were just in. So with those knees apart, nice and wide, feet splayed out to the side. And you're going to take the left hand or the right, we're starting with the left. Left hand's going to go down, palm's going to go flat on the floor. Now we might have done this, or you might have seen this, in previous classes. We have done this before. But you can take the right hand, palm up, you're going to reach through behind that front arm. So some people call it threading the needle. You're going to reach through as far as you can. Come back into the middle, and then reach straight back up on there. So reaching through, and reaching up. Good. Up high, and reaching through. Okay, let's try that on the other side as well. So taking the right hand, palm goes down flat. I'm just going to turn the music down a tiny little bit. Okay. So right hand goes down flat, left hand again, that palm goes up, you're going to reach through as far across as you can, come back up into the middle, and reaching up to the ceiling. Now as you're moving, you're going to try and breathe in, so breathe in the middle here, and then as you reach, you're going to breathe out. So breathe in, and then breathe out again. Good. Now we can do it from side to side, so let's reach, reach, hand goes down, reach, and reach. Let's go one more on each side, reach, good, and reach, up in the middle there. Now we're going to tie that in with another movement. This next movement is called stirring the pot. Places quite a lot of load on the shoulders and on the elbows, so if you don't have a soft surface, You want to try and put a pillow underneath your elbows if you can for this one. So staying in pretty much the same position with your hips. Both arms are going to come forward this time so that your elbows are on the floor. Now you're going to make a decent sized fist or you can hold your hands together, but we're going to keep ourselves in this low position. The whole body's going to come forwards. Probably easier to show from the side. So here, the whole body's going to come forwards and we're going to be making big circles around our elbows whilst keeping them planted on the floor. So you can see going right back so that your chest is close to the floor, going off to the side, elbows are still planted, hands still planted, you're coming right forwards again. Now you can make this a little harder if you want by going with your knees off the floor. So you can go one direction, and you go back, other direction. Good. But for now, keep those knees on the floor, coming right forwards, and going round. So this is a really good exercise for getting the shoulders moving. Again, if you find any pain or discomfort when you're doing this, just skip this one. Going around in nice big circles. So let's try and add those two in together. So knees apart, one arm down. We're going to take the right hand, reach through, reach up, both hands in the middle, circle one way, circle back the other way. Good. Right hand down the side. Left hand comes through, up to the ceiling, two hands down, circle one way, circle back the other way, left hand down, reaching through, reaching up, one more circle and then we're going to do one more, reach through and up the other way, into the middle, good, right hand down, left hand through and up to the ceiling. So that's our first lot, or first couple of exercises done there. Again, really good getting that rotation in, trying to unlock the spine a little bit. And then also with the stir in the pot, it's a decent strength exercise for shoulders and also a little bit of mobility as well there, so getting the whole way around. Okay, next one. We're back into on our knees, but this time we're going to have our heels up ever so slightly. So from the side, we step back here. So again, toes pushed into the floor. You're going to reach forwards as far as you can and try and bring your chest down nice and close to the floor. As you can see, my back's nice and straight, so we're not here all arched up. Back is nice and straight. And then from here, we're just going to slowly move from side to side. Palms nice and spread out. Now, if you want to, you can drop your hips a little bit further apart. That allows your hips to get a little closer and you can get further down to the floor. But what we're going to do, because we're going to be linking it into another exercise after this, is just to keep those knees together there. So reaching forwards, hands about shoulder width apart, and you're trying to push your chest down towards the floor. And what you should feel is a big stretch right up the side of the body as we're stretching out the lats there. Reaching forwards, you can drop your toes down if you want, you can sit back, trying to get that chest nice and close to the floor with a real big stretch right up the side. From there. Good. Nice and easy moving from side to side. Okay, so now from that position we're then going to move into a low plank position and then we're going to add in a push-up. So from there, reaching forwards, we've got that little bit of mobility there. Now you're going to push your toes into the floor, bring yourself forwards into a nice long plank here, and then push yourself up into that high push-up position. So back down to the floor, bring yourself back, and we're there again. So, one more time, bring yourself down, so knees about shoulder width apart, reaching forwards, getting the chest down nice and low, a little bit of movement from side to side, keep those hands planted. Now from here, my hand's a little bit slippery on this floor, you're probably better off on something like a carpet, you have a bit more grip, but from here, push the toes into the floor. You can drop your elbows down if you want, that makes it easier. push yourself up into a push-up. So down, back, and sit down. So let's add those two movements together. Mobility from side to side, and then strength forward and backwards. Now this one is rather difficult for me because this floor is exceptionally slippery, but let's drop down, going from side to side, getting the stretch in your lats there. Bring yourself right forwards into that low push-up position, push yourself up and back down. Now if you can't do a full push-up, that's absolutely fine. What we're going to do is do the same thing on your knees. So you drop yourself back down there, we're here, coming forward, but this time just keep your knees where they are. Coming forward nice and low, and keep your knees on the floor. Back down, and on there. Cool. Okay. So second movement with that one. That one does take a little bit more strength, especially pushing yourself up there. And if you want to make it a little bit more interesting, you can go onto the forearm. So, as an example, we're here, and rather than going straight to your hands, you see your elbows are on the floor, so you can go to elbows. Make sure your hands are far enough apart that you're here, and then you can push yourself up into that high push-up position. Down there, back down to the elbows, and then back in there. Okay. Alright then, next one. We're going to move into a little bit more of some rotation movements, as well as kind of opening up the chest. So rotation in itself is great, but if the chest is still really tight, then you're not going to be able to get much movement in there altogether. So the next one's going to be a little more difficult to demonstrate, but we're going to have a try anyway. So you're going to be flat on your back. I'm going to start lying on my left side with the arm out in front of you. And you're going to have two hands both together from here. So, two hands both together on the top there. Top hand, you're going to reach right up over the top to the other side. Your knees come up into the middle, over to the other side, and then you're bringing that hand back over. Now it's important that as you do this you move nice and slow. So back the other way. Once it gets to about here it will start to get a bit tight, so take a breath in and then breathe out. Good. Knees come in, over to the other side, and then that other arm comes over there. So let's try that a couple of times. Over, knees, and then back over the other way. Good. Knees over. And yeah, if you want to make this one a little more difficult, or if you want it to be a strength exercise at the same time as being mobility, you can take those feet off the floor, and similar to a window wiper, you can roll them over nice and easy. So let's try that there. Knees over, feet off the floor, and then we're coming in with the other hand. Now I'm going to add in the strength exercise that goes with that as well. I'll try and show it from all different angles, but we'll start off again from the top up here. Okay, so hands together. You can see my knees there, we're up in sort of like a fetal position. Hands together, arms are going to come up and over. There we go, those knees coming over. Arm comes over there, and this top hand is going into your armpit. You're going to push yourself up using that hand. The other hand comes round so that both hands are facing forward, legs extend, and then you're into that high plank position there. So to get back down, knees come down and up. Other hand, bottom hand, extends right out, and then the top hand goes back on top. So we go over the other way, knees over, top hand comes to the armpit, push yourself up, other hand comes forward so that both hands are facing forwards, legs go straight, and then you're in a nice high plank position from there. So back down, armpit to hand, hand on the top. Now let's see that slightly from this side, so you might be able to see a little bit better as to what the arms are doing there. So starting off over here, hand comes into the armpit, Push yourself up. Both hands are facing forward, and then straighten the legs out so that you're in that high plank position. Again, you can add in a push-up if you want to. Hips go down, knees come up, arm goes out to the armpit, and then from there back over the other side. Knees over, hand to armpit, push yourself up, hands forward, into that high plank position, back down, knees up, arm out. So let's move like that continuously just for a moment. With all of these ones, we generally recommend going for 30 seconds worth or 45 seconds worth, depending on how long you can go for. Of the first movement being the mobility, and then you're going to go for the same amount of time with that strength movement included as well. And then that way you're getting a good amount of movement, whole body moving around, and up to armpit, forward, legs straight. Good, and that one does put a lot of pressure on that arm. It's bringing you up. And that's the whole point. It's to be working for that strength there. Okay. So that one again, opening up the chest, getting a little bit of rotation in there. Also starting to work on some single arm strength, pushing yourself up into that high plank position as well. Cool. So, next one we're moving into. Now we've done this one before, or at least we've done the start of the one before. Moving into the shin box. We're going then into a lunge position and then into a deep squat. So that shin box position, starting position, bringing feet together from here. The knee goes to the inside of the foot, both opposite ways. So we're going to be going this way to my left first. So right knee goes down, back into the middle, left knee goes down to the inside of that foot. Now we've done this one plenty of times before if you've seen in any of my previous classes, same as last week in fact. Important things when we're doing here, when you get into this side position, sitting in a squash position is no good. So you want to be keeping yourself up nice and tall, open up the chest. Breathing out as you move and take a breath in when you get to the other side. So let's go for that for about 30 seconds. Again, if you're finding it particularly difficult to get the knees down, you can have a hand or two hands down behind you. So if we go back into the middle here and you're finding it difficult to get this side down, it just won't go. Lean back, put one hand down, and that takes the pressure off the hips a little bit there. Or you can have both hands and you can sit forward, sit backward whilst the knees are moving that way. Cool, let's go one more on each side. There. And here. Right, now from this position, I'm going to take both hands, we're moving to our right side this time. So both hands are going to go down towards the right leg, so they're both facing off directly to the right. You're going to bring this left foot up here, and then you're going to push yourself up and extend that rear leg out so you're moving into a lunge position. To get back to that, knee comes down, foot goes out, you sit back down, and then that foot goes back behind you there. So let's try that on the other side as well. So shin box over to the other side. Let me shuffle a little so you can see a bit better. Both hands go down. Now it makes it easier if you bring yourself forward. You're going to bring that right foot up and extend that rear leg out so you're in a lunge position there. So foot comes back in, sit yourself back down, knee goes down, back into the middle, over to the other side. Hands go down, sit yourself up, left leg comes to left hand, right leg goes out straight, right leg comes in, sit yourself down, left leg tucks back in, that knee to foot. So, over to the other side, both hands down, sit yourself up, right leg to right, or right foot to right hand, left leg goes out straight, comes back in, sit down, and then right knee to left foot. So nice and slow on the movement there, fluid as it comes up, left to left, right out straight, right in, sit down, left comes back down, over to the other side, forward, right to right, left goes out straight, left comes in, sit back down, right goes back, and from there. So now if that looks a little bit complicated, I'm just going to show you directly from the front. So we're going to go shin box directly towards the camera. So we're going to the left side there, both hands are coming down, sit yourself forwards, now that right foot, coming up to the right hand there, and then the left leg, as you can see, is going out nice and straight. So tuck that left leg back in, right goes down, and you go over to the other way. Now those two are really good to stick together. Again, try and keep them as fluid as possible, so one's moving straight into the other. Now from that front lunge position, so we've shin boxed all the way over, we've got ourselves up into that lunge position there, so left to left, and right up. All we're going to do is move this right leg up to our right hand, and we're going to sit into a nice deep squat there. So both hands back down, right leg comes back out, right leg comes back in but tucked up this time. Sit yourself back down, knee to foot, shin box over the other side, we're going down, right to right, left goes out straight and then comes straight back up into a nice deep squat there. Back out, left in, right tucks in, going over. So let's try and do this one nice and fluid this time. As we go back, forward, squat. Back, forward, sit, knee to foot, over, and again with all of these exercises, one of the easiest ways to keep control of the movement is to keep your abs squeezed real tight. So keep the abs squeezed as you're moving. Breathe out if it starts to get a bit sticky or a little bit difficult. But again, keep the movement moving nice and fluid. Down. Sitting back down. Okay, so this is actually 3 moves stuck together. And again, focusing mostly on the mobility of your hips as we then move over to the other side. So a nice easy 3 to stick together there. Again, you can go 30 seconds on each one. And that'll get things nice and moving. Okay, so we're moving into a high plank this time. We're going for another 3 that we can stick together. We're going to have a couple of movements that we literally just done, so the squat position, but we're starting off in that high plank. So, nice high plank position from here. Now we're going to get into a deep squat again. You can either step forwards, one after the other, and squat there, or if you're feeling particularly limber, you can jump forwards into the squat position there. Personally, I prefer to just step, because then you've got a little bit more control over the movement. So let's go back, high lunge, step forwards, sit down. Nice and simple. Next movement is then going to be knee drops. Now we've done a little bit of this before. Let me just drop backwards. So you're in a deep squat position, and you're going to bring that knee down to the floor as much as you can. Back up, knee down. On the other side, again, working the hips. Now what you can do to make it a little easier is you shift your body weight towards the leg that's still on the floor. So right here, I'm sat pretty much on the heel of my right leg, back into the middle from there. So let's add those together. High plank, step forward, deep squat, knee drop, back into the deep squat, and a high plank. And again, you can add a push-up in when you're in that high plank position. So let's go down, push-up. And as with all of these movements and exercises, you can pretty much link them all together so you get a full, what we'll call, flow out of them. That's it. Let's go one more time. Legs out. Push up. Step forwards. Down. Down. And then back out into that high plank. Nice job. Okay. Now the next one, we're going to drop back into those heel sits that we did at the very beginning. This one's going to be quite a lot more movement, and again, the very end of it is going to be a push-up, but we're going to do what is called a dive bomber push-up, so essentially you're in sort of undulating position as you move through that there. So sitting back onto your heels, and you can have your knees off the floor if you want, or you can just start with the knees on the floor. So sitting back there, you're going to come up by pushing your toes up from the side, pushing your toes into the floor. You're going to bring those hips up nice and high. Now, as you can see, my calves are pretty tight. So what you're thinking of doing here in this position is just pushing your heels into the floor to try and get them as straight as possible. So hands flat down, push the toes into the floor, push the knees backwards, and you're trying to extend the legs nice and straight, and you'll get a real strong stretch at the back of your legs there. So heels into the floor, again nice and slow on the way up and on the way down. Now the closer you bring your hands to your feet, the more of a stretch you'll get. So have a play around with what works. Good, we're going to go one more time, and we're going to add in the next movement. Excellent. Okay, so next time we're going up into that same position. We're going to walk ourselves out then into a cat stretch, or cow stretch. Can't never remember the difference. Never mind. So up nice and high, walking yourself out into that high plank, and then the butt comes down, hips come down. Squeeze your butt so that your hips push forward. And then pushing yourself back out again. And down. So one more time. Hips up, walk yourself forwards, drop the hips down, take a breath out as you do. So getting the hips down to the floor. And as you're in this position, think about pushing your shoulders down into the floor. So you don't want to be sat in a nice squashed up position there. You want to be pushed down so that your shoulders are into the floor. Bring yourself back up into that stretch and back down. So let's do a couple together. Walking out. Putting the shoulders back and down. And a stretch there. One last time. Big stretch. Walking out. Big stretch. And then coming back down. Okay. So those ones there. Oh, we forgot the dive bomber push-ups. My apologies. So we're up into there, walking yourself out into that low position here. Now from this position, again, this is quite difficult because I have sweaty hands. But from here, dropping your body down and pushing the hips back up. So your chest goes down to the floor, up into that high bit, almost like a U position. Down, back up, walk yourself back up and down there. So let's add those three together. Pushing up, walking out, hips down. Now drop your body down to the floor and push yourself up. Coming back down to the floor, up into that high position, walking yourself back in. And you're there. Now I'm not going to do that one too much. I literally can't hold that position because I'm sweating all over the place. Okay, last couple that we're going to move through and then we'll call it a day from there. We're going to move into a deep squat position again. So find yourself a little bit of space, feet just over shoulder width apart, and a nice deep squat position there. Now we're going to get into some more rotation. So we're going to take the right hand and go on the inside of the opposite leg. You can make a fist, you can do whatever you want with it, as long as it provides a little bit of support to stop your knees from coming in. Other hand, keeping the elbow pushed in. Other hand, you're going to reach up to the ceiling, come back down, same on the other side. Reaching up to the ceiling, again you can see it's a little tight on that side. And breathing out as you reach up. Good. Breathe in and out. In and out. Okay, so that's our mobility movement for that one. But we're now going to add in a stand to the knee high as well. So reaching up to the left, come down in the middle, squat up, bring that knee up, back down, squat to the other side. Reaching up, good, coming up, opposite, knee comes up, and we're down, nice and slow. So reach with the left, come down, squat up, knee up with the right, place back down, squat down, reaching up with the right, down, squat up, and knee up with the left. Again, every movement that you're doing is nice and slow and controlled. And if you want, you can start trying to really link them in so the whole movement is completely fluid all the way through. And we're down into deep squat from there. Okay, we've got one more to move through and then we'll be finished up from there. And hopefully you can do this one. I want to slide off the mat. We're moving from a plank position into the mountain climbers, and then you're pushing yourself up into a squat position from there. So high position is the whole high plank position to start off with. Now your standard mountain climber, you bring your knee up and across the body nice and quick. But we're going to do this one slow. We're going to take the left knee across the body, knee's going to go down, and then the hips are going to go down. So the whole leg's there, a bit of a 90 degree, but the other one's nice and straight. We're going to keep this hand planted, and we're going to push ourselves over that way off to our right to bring ourselves up into a squat position. So adjust your hand if you need to, push yourself up, and you're in a squat from there. Hand goes back down, other hand comes to join it, and you're coming up straight. So let's go right knee across, drop the hips down, moving ourselves over to the left, into a squat position, and then we're sliding back down, both hands into the middle. So trying to keep that one fluid this time, we're going to push ourselves up and over, hand down, come to join, and down onto the other side. So left knee up to the right hand, keep that left hand planted, reaching out over this way, and we're going to push ourselves up into that squat position. So let's try showing you from this way. So high plank position, left knee up, drop the hips down. Everything's in quite a long line. If you find that when you get up there your squat stance is too wide, just bring that rear leg up a little bit more. Hand stays planted there, and you're pushing yourself up into that squat position there. So down, knees down, hand down, legs out straight. Same on the other side. Right knee comes up, hips go down. Got a slight bend in the knee there, and you're pushing yourself up into that squat there. So moving down, down, and across. And again, you're going to try and get this one so that you're flowing in between each movement. Last one, let me go one more on the other side. Good. And we're going to finish in there. Alright guys, so again, that's sort of 35 minutes or so of movement. Again, apologies for kind of sliding around all over the place. This mat is literally completely drenched in sweat because it's so hot in here. So some of the movements are a little bit more difficult to show. So I'd recommend, if you are doing it and it is hot, say you're doing this at lunchtime, find yourself something that isn't like a rubber floor or like a laminate floor. You want to try to find like a carpet or something like that that's going to give you a little bit more grip. Keep your shoes on as well. As much as I'm an advocate for not wearing shoes, in this scenario, safety kind of overrides anything else. The last thing you want to be doing is slipping out when you're in a bit of a compromising position. But if you have anybody's got any questions, again, please stick a comment on the bottom and let us know. Otherwise, don't forget to like and share this video. Check out all of our other videos that we've got. We've also got them uploaded onto our YouTube channel as well at Sport and Wellbeing. We've also got the Does You Good Twitter service. So again, every day we've got people logging into Twitter to answer any questions that you might have that's anything to do with fitness related. And then finally, don't forget, we're still running that competition where if we share your fitness story, you'll be in for a chance to win a set of Bluetooth headphones. So all you've got to do is just send us in an email to sportandwellbeing@southampton.ac.uk and tell us about how you've been keeping active during lockdown, during the general global pandemic. But otherwise, that is it for today. Thank you very much for joining the class, and yeah, have a lovely day. We'll see you soon. Thanks very much.